All right, I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst and Company. Catalyst and Company, where we're catalysts in each other's lives as well as our own. And we continue to work at being the artists we've always wanted to be. And as you may or may not know, that doesn't mean me teaching you how to put a brush on canvas or teaching you anything other than let's hang in there. Today is New Year's Eve. It's December 31st, 2024. And this channel, we've been at this now for almost 13 years. We're 1 month shy, I think we're 1 month shy of 13 years, and that's kind of extraordinary. If you've watched these, you know that we've been through, God, in the beginning I was in a studio called Studio 120, and that's originally what this channel was Studio 120. And it was me in a studio in Pawtucket where a plywood floor and there was water running underneath. So in the wintertime it was freezing cold. In the summertime it was humid and hot. We had thin walls and no heat, or almost pretty much no heat. It was freezing in there. But what I loved was there was a mill full of artists. When I first got in there, you had to be vetted as an artist. You had to be vetted. They had to see your portfolio. And they had to know that you were pretty serious to get in there. It was awesome, honestly. And so we've got all these crazy artists running around the halls, especially in the evening after management had left. You know, we were running around the halls and hanging out and eating dinner, and you know, we'd share stories and work together. Sometimes we'd collaborate. Other times it was just sitting in people's studios and reading a book, or just hanging out periodically. I miss the magic of those days because it was like imagination on fire and all around me by visual artists and musicians. Eventually, the owner decided they were going to turn them into micro spaces, and it just went down. But the artists move out, which is, you know, is historically repeated. It's a cycle. The artists move out because they're not wanted anymore. They're no longer useful, and other people move in, and they make trouble. But anywho, I haven't thought about that in a long time, but I've been thinking a lot since I got back from Georgia, from the Hambidge Center for the Creative Arts and Sciences, thinking a lot about the experiences I had there, just being in solitude and in quiet, and not in self-imposed solitude and quiet, you know, to get away from the noise and the chaos and the hammering that we're all experiencing right now. It was a solitude and quiet that was like a gentle blanket thrown over this campus. We had no Wi-Fi, we had no cell phone. We did have Wi-Fi at the main house, but it was spotty, as we know. So that interaction was a choice instead of, you know, a thing that you know, try and barrier yourself from sometimes. But anyway, I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about Alice Neal, Van Gogh, and Kusama. I've been thinking about the three of them, of course, a lot lately, because I do. I've been thinking a lot about Vanessa German as well. Vanessa German is, of course, my favorite sculptor, favorite poet. Well, I don't love poetry, but I do read her stuff. Favorite poet, artist, painter, sculptor, social activist, all the things wrapped into one. She's my favorite one alive today. She's been very quiet lately. I know she's still working, but she's doing a lot. She's doing like high-level stuff, but I'm thinking a lot about her. And kind of I'm taking all of these thoughts and all of these people and mushing them together in my head, and their experiences as artists, their experiences at the Hambidge, my recent experiences at the Hambidge. I was thinking this morning about Van Gogh, and we know that people make Van Gogh into a punchline because, oh, he was crazy. Well, he was driven to a point of being broken because he didn't conform. He did try. The funny thing is, we're thinking a lot about this. And this was a discussion we all had at Hambidge. All these different, I don't know, well over a dozen artists, maybe 2 dozen artists that I met, and writers and performers, blah, 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 and award winners and all these people, is they've been hammered too into being somebody they're not. They tried to do, running that route, and okay, this is what you want, this is what I'll be, or this is what you want to see, this is what I'll produce, or this is what you want to read, this is what I'll write. They all did it, but every single one of them only started making gaining ground when they just went, I don't care anymore. I literally don't care anymore, and it's been it was a relief to me to hear it, because I don't care. I haven't cared in quite a while. Like, I'm not winning, and I want you to hear the lesson here. I wasn't winning at producing work that was asked of me. Being I want to call it flexible, but acting like a printer. Like, oh, this is what you want, this is what I'll do. It never got me anywhere. And I sat at table after table, dinner table after dinner table after dinner table at Hambidge, talking with all these people. I'm listening to them talk about them doing the same thing. Oh, this is what my publisher wants me to write. I'm going to write it, and then their book fails. This is what people are doing on podcasts, so I'm going to do it, and the podcast fails. This is what people want me to do in ceramics or in graphic design or whatever, in filmmaking. And that always leads me back to Van Gogh, who we've talked about a million times here. Van Gogh did the same thing. Van Gogh was told he should be a preacher. So he tried being a preacher, I believe, twice. He tried being a minister. He was booted out. He wasn't wanted. He didn't have the personality that whatever church decided he should have. So he was booted out not once, but twice, I believe. He was booted out by his father, who just really had a lot of anger towards him for not being like Dad or other people. He held a number of jobs, a number of professions. He failed at them all because he was never right. He was never the right person. And then as a painter, he didn't like pick up a paintbrush one day and like, boopity boop, here I am, I'm Van Gogh, I'm famous, la la. He tried painting the way he was told to paint. He was told to, if you produce, he understood and had it expressed to him that this is how you paint. These are the subjects you paint. This is how you paint. This is how you will paint. You will never be anything if you don't paint this way. And he tried. He really tried. He used those dark colors. He used like the masters and tried to conform to the taste of the time. And then after being rejected and broken by that several times, many times, he snapped. He snapped. The stress of trying to be what other people want you to be it's intolerable. And it's only when he was sitting in a, no, I think he was by himself. Yeah, I think he was by himself when he started just like producing work that was his. It was all his. And he was vilified for it, and he was mocked for it, and his brother Theo couldn't sell it because of the conformity of taste at the time, what people believed was right and good. They didn't see the value in his work. And so somewhere in that time, he was actually hospitalized again, and he became more productive because he had quiet and solitude, and he was allowed to paint without having critical eyes on him, and people telling him to be someone else. That's when he became the Van Gogh that we know. He produced the work that we love. And Alice Neal went through the same thing. She didn't do commissions. She didn't do portraits the way other people were doing them at the time. She actually transformed, just like Vincent. She transformed painting and portraiture because she just rejected society's need for everyone to conform. And then the same thing, of course, with Kusama. She moved to New York as a young girl because her family wanted her to conform. Wanted her to be a good little Japanese girl and get married and not have any ambitions or thoughts of her own. Moved to New York. She became the artist that she was. I mean, she became a fabulous artist in New York, but she was fighting society's idea of what an artist should be at the time, which was white and male. And she was competing, and she talked about this endlessly, especially in 2012 or leading up to 2012, that she was fighting endlessly with Andy Warhol, trying to get publicity like he was getting, and she couldn't get it because she was a woman and Japanese, and people are very racist. And she wasn't producing work like everybody else, not easily recognizable work. Now she's, 90? And she's still working every day, as far as I know. She's the jewel of Japan. She has a museum that is dedicated to her. Van Gogh has a museum that is dedicated to him. Alice Neal does not have a museum, but she is in Tate MoMA, Guggenheim, Brown School of Design. She's just everywhere. Alice Neal is everywhere. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, as we go out of 2024 and we go into this, into 2025, and we don't know what's going to happen, but there is a real force that's already been put in motion for us to conform, to everyone conform to this just, I don't even know how to describe it, but to conform to what's coming into the White House. Just say no. Just say no. Who cares? Who conform as human beings, but also as artists? No. I think it's gonna be my word of the year. No. That and mind your own business is really great, but no. I found myself saying no to 2 things already, and it makes me happier than trying to conform. You don't get a prize for being the best conformist. Well, I guess you do. Sometimes you do. Oh, I guess you get prizes for being a derivative of a derivative as well. There is a lot of money in that. I, however, can't do it. I'm allergic to copying and being a derivative of 100 other people or a million other people. Let's go into 2025 like we have nothing else to lose. We have nothing to lose in being ourselves. We have nothing to lose in doing the artwork. Doing the artwork that is important, that is driven by intent and clear intent. Let's figure out who we are as artists, why we do the work that we do, why we use the techniques that we use. Let's develop our own techniques. Let's develop our own vision. Our own. Our own. Let's fight conformity in 2025. Let's do our souls and our hearts a favor. Say no to conformity. And follow our most excellent selves. The best version of ourselves as artists, as writers, as performers, as whatever we do. Because we have nothing to lose. You know, people talk about, equate Trump with Hitler, which actually J.D. Vance has done, as famously as we know. But even his own people have gone, this is fascism. And of course, he mocks them, and all of his fans go, that's great, good for you, beat them down. Oh, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I totally forgot what I was saying. Okay, forgot what I was saying. I had a point. And so anyway, let's just not, we have nothing to, oh, I know what I was going to say. So people have equated him to Hitler, rightfully so. They've called his fans cult members, rightfully so, because we've seen this before. Everybody can see that this is 1934 all over again. That, you know, they want to take away our rights. They want to blah, 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 blah. I'm not watching the news. I'm not even listening to podcasts. I'm listening to books. I'm not watching television, nothing. Any TV shows, nothing. What I'm holding in mind as we go into this period, especially with Inauguration Day right around the corner, is in every time of stress and horror and fascism, the work that has been valued and held up and has been celebrated once the horror is over comes from people who are having original thoughts, original ideas. Those are the people that, this was a symbol of true freedom and true creativity. So let's go into this as ourselves. Yes? I think something like that. I don't know. Let's think about Van Gogh and Kusama and Alice Neal again. Let's consider the degenerate art that a lot of it was destroyed, and then some of it was found and just celebrated. Let's think about that. Let's think about Seraphine, the artist from France, who was all alone during wartime, making her own paints and crayons. And striving forward in her own way, doing her own work, despite the time. Okay? So I think I'm just going to stop there because blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I got to clean my floor. I just saw I got little paint tootie marks everywhere. I apparently stepped in paint. I got it all over the place, so I'm going to go clean it up. Anyway, I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst & Company. If you'd like to help support Catalyst & Company, all the links are down below. If you're interested in original art, blah, 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 down below as well. All right. I wish everyone a happy 2025, or at least a happy new year. And let's go into this with courage into 2025, with courage, strength, intent, drive, and let's use our favorite word when we don't want to do something or we find something unacceptable. Our favorite word? Say it with me. No. Just no, thank you. No bueno. No. All right. Ciao. Hey, Carrie, I've been watching your posts on Facebook. You're really funny. You crack me up all the time. Carrie Keiss, I still haven't written you a letter, and I apologize. I haven't written anyone letters. I haven't written anyone letters who helped get me to Georgia, and I've been meaning to. It's just a lot. But I promise you I will get to it. Anyway, yum. Happy New Year. See you next year. See you 2025. Ciao. Meow. Boink.